All right, everybody, I am finally back with a brand new DC update. I have been extremely busy. I have a Lego video coming up that I'm working on. I also have a review for the Fall Guy coming up, and I still have a video coming up where I'm going to be talking about the state of Hollywood and why movies are failing and how they can fix it. I did a video on this previously, but there is definitely more to the story, and we're going to talk about that. And it's why a lot of stuff like DC, Marvel, Star Wars are all failing right now, and we're going to talk about that. So I've got a lot of things coming up, but I've been very, very busy with my career, and I have not had time to sit down and do a video, so I wanted to make sure I got this video up as quickly as I could. There's been some more stuff coming out about Superman that we're going to look at, Creature Commandos, and a bunch of stuff. Also, know that Warner Brothers stock got down to $7 today, 7.00, $7, almost dipped down into the 6. There's no confidence in Warner Brothers, guys. And I saw a discussion on Twitter today where somebody made a perfect analogy about this and what's going on with the DCU and how a lot of fans like myself view this. We view it as we were promised steak and potatoes, and we're getting something else entirely like meatloaf. I don't remember what the exact analogy was, but we're not getting the meat and potatoes we were promised. And so we had it at one point, but the studio just let it go. But let's jump into today's photos. First up is a little bit about, and this is from the Hollywood Reporter, a little bit about Creature Commandos. And this comes from James Gunn himself. He says the new series picks up directly after our Peacemaker Season 1 finale, which leaves Waller with her hands tied operationally, meaning she's no longer able to get away with putting human lives on the line to carry out her clandestine, morally questionable missions. Instead, she recruits a ragtag band of misfits, not unlike the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. So this is where Creature Commandos picks up, which brings up an interesting question because he's talking about where Peacemaker Season 1 ended. And I actually didn't grab that screenshot, but somebody asked him directly about Creature Commandos and how it ties into Season 1. And Gunn said Season 1 is no longer canon, but Season 2 will be canon to the DCU and takes place after Superman. And so everyone's like, well, why is he talking about Season 1 then, the finale of Season 1, if Season 1 is no longer canon? Talk about confusing. When he makes comments like this, again, it just goes to show that he's keeping the stuff that he was involved with, but getting rid of everything else. Again, he doesn't want any competition. So this also comes from James Gunn. He's talking about the DCU. He said, it's a cornerstone of the legacy we've been entrusted to carry at DC Studios and plays an integral role in the vision for our future storytelling. Since taking the reins, our true north has been to bring DC film, TV, animation, and gaming into alignment under a single banner and bring a sense of unity and consistency into the DCU as a whole. This frees us up to create a range of products that are diverse and compelling and deliver great standalone entertainment experiences on every medium, while also being part of a larger story that we're telling within our unified DCU. We'll see about this because it seems like he wants to get rid of everything else. And I don't know if I grabbed it, but Superman and Lois, or not Superman and Lois, My Adventures of Superman was actually picked up for a Season 3. And people were saying, well, I thought James Gunn wanted to cancel everything that wasn't part of his DCU. Well, you have to understand that Season 3 of My Adventures with Superman will actually release before Superman releases. So I expect that will be canceled after Season 3, and there won't be a Season 4. I would be a betting man and say that is what is going to happen because it's all about James Gunn. James Gunn confirms the script to the Batman Part 2 is being worked on. Somebody asked, is the script for the Batman 2 still being worked on? James Gunn just answered, yes. He said, someone else asked, when do you suspect the script to be finished? He goes on to say, when Matt thinks it's ready. Yeah, I still think they're going to do this until they push him out because we're going to see something else that there's a rumor going around that something is going to contradict all of this. Now, this is pretty interesting. Apparently, there was some stuff in Batman versus Superman in the warehouse scene with Batman where it was a little worse than what they said. Well, it was going to be a little more brutal. It says, as it turns out, Ben Affleck's iconic warehouse fight sequence in Batman vs. Superman actually wasn't that entire cut. Ben Affleck's Batman originally had a more brutal warehouse fight scene in Batman vs. Superman where he used an opponent as a shield. The extended sequence was cut from the final movie as it didn't fit the desired portrayal of Batman, incapacitating rather than killing his opponents. This I personally agree with. I don't want to see him intentionally kill someone. I mean, when someone throws a grenade at him and he deflects it back to them, I don't see that as killing them. That's more of self-defense, and those people, they're making their own bed. I think that's different from him, specifically grabbing a guy to use him as a human shield. So this is one change I actually agree with. I think it would have taken it just a bit too far. So this is what I was talking about in regards to the James Gunn Batman thing. And this, I do not know if this is true, so you need to put this in the rumor category. I want to make that very clear, okay? This is definitely a rumor. But it says Batman has reportedly been cast already in James Gunn's new DCU. And I don't know how that's possible because they're nowhere near filming that movie. And, he's not the one that's going to be directing that. It's supposedly, what's his name, who did The Flash. And so we shall see here in the near future. So someone actually made it onto the set of Superman. James Gunn said, always nice to have friends visiting the set. And I thought this was kind of an interesting photo. One thing I'll mention is all of the people of color have put themselves in a corner over here away from everybody else, which I thought was interesting. But notice who's in the center here. We've got Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is visiting the set. He actually has this interesting, he looks like he's amused with what's going on. Now, we don't know exactly what's going on in the scene or what they're looking at, but this does look like, with the way they're dressed and the look of this is probably something for the Fortress of Solitude. But who knows? Looks like they're in a freezer, actually. So here was one of the big bits of news that came out today. It says, first look at the Daily Planet in James Gunn's Superman. So that would be the lobby to the entrance. I believe this is somewhere in Cleveland where they're filming this, and there's actually some more shots of the whole building. We'll see how this all plays into this. This kind of looks like a building you might see in New York, what do you call it? I can't even think of names right now. But, so this is kind of a look at what it's going to look like. And I just hope they keep, they still said that this movie is going to look aesthetically different than anything else that's come before, which I think is a slippery slope. But I'm waiting for some actual footage for this movie to actually be released. And hopefully we will get a trailer sometime this summer, but we shall see. All right, guys, so what do you think about the stocks hitting a super low of almost going into the $6 range? And what do you think about all this news of Superman, Creature Commandos, Batman reportedly being cast? What are your guys' thoughts on all of this? I'm going to continue to bring you all of the DC news as it gets released. And if there is anything that breaks, I will be doing videos immediately. I do appreciate all the support. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you will be notified as new videos go up. We will see you in the next video.